Welcome back, welcome back. Yes. It was a long break, yes. It's nice to be back and in context, my context is in context, We're gonna have a lot of fun this year. I just finished my 40 days, 40 days food fast. So my body's still getting used to eating different food, but I kind of like a little bit, it felt like I had to do the 40 days to get used to the 40 days again, because last year I didn't do any 40 days food fast. So this year I was like, okay, let me just do it in the beginning of January. And it was nice, it was nice. I usually do it like twice a year. Twice a year. So around like January, and then maybe around like November, December, when it gets cold again, I like to have more like green food and maybe like fruits as well, around that time, so around winter time, around summertime, you can still eat green food and all that, you can still eat like cooked food, if you like, but I like to do it around like January. So January is around that time I like to do my fasting, my 40-day food fasting. And then when it gets the time around like November, December, I like to do another one, 40 days food fast. Just get used to, eating like raw food, so because the older you get, your metabolism slows down a little bit more, so you don't really have much activities to do as much than before, and I stopped playing ball around very, not young, but around my 30s, so because I'm very competitive when it comes to football, so I like to win things, but when I start seeing certain teams that I was actually involved myself into, they were kind of just going in there, play the game, and then just leave, so I didn't feel I'm gonna win anything, because I'm very competitive. I like to win things, whatever I do, so less activities, so your metabolism slows down a little bit, so you kind of have to used to eat less also, twice a year fasting is very great. It gives your body to recuperate also, to digest a lot of stuff as well. You might think the stuff that you eat every day, that is the poop from the from the day that you actually ate some food, but if you do eat every day, twice, 3, 4, 5 times a day, or whatever it is, you will poop the ones that was last week or something like that, so the one that you just ate there a while ago, it might take a little bit more time before you get the other one digest, so it's a lot of things going on in your body, if you don't really give it a rest, you gotta give it a rest at least 40 days. Some people do dry fasting, but I don't know about that part, but sometimes I do it a day I might not even eat anything at all, and in those one day or maybe 2 days, you don't feel really hungry, because you still have those fatty food that you eaten maybe yesterday or 2 days before, they're still trying to figure out where to go because you give your body some rest, so they can actually digest also, and and food always develop as sugar later on, and then later on as fat, so it takes time, fasting is very important, but fasting not this crazy fasting where you don't eat anything or you don't put anything in your body, so none of that fasting, you have to put something in your body, to recover and also exchange, a lot of pigment food, also a lot of green, you know, names that I mentioned here sometimes, like I don't really like, because some studies, like, you know, that I have like read some of them, like, you know, in the past, most of them, like, the research that everybody was doing, like, you know, was always about, like, you know, not on humans but in animals, like, you know. So it made me sometimes think, like, you know, maybe, or not maybe, but it could be like the research that everybody's been doing, like, you know, and the medical, like, universe, like, you know, that they take the time to do those research, like, on animals, like, you know. So those names maybe come from an animal parts, like, you know, and we just developing it, like, to make it look like our body is the same way as an animal, like, you know. So we can actually like recoup, or even like take the things that they have doing research on the animal, and we might think, like, you know, we have the same genetics, or we have the same body parts, or anything like that. So we can actually take those certain medicinal, or maybe like drugs, whatever it is, like, you know, to heal ourselves, like, you know. So yeah, so it's just crazy, like, you know, for me to read certain things, and the only thing I'm reading is like, we don't research on an animal, like, and then they're giving it to human beings to take, like, you know. So yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, so yeah, it's good to do it. You know, fasting is great, you know. So just be back talking again, and you know, and a lot of things happened last year and this year also already, like, you know. So not like in like crazy way, like, you know, but it is crazy enough, like, you know, to see a lot of like things that's going on in the world nowadays, like, you know. But you know, the one thing that's like very consistent, like, you know, with everything that's going on in the world, is always health, like, you know, nothing else, like, you know. Like those things that pop up like once in a year, and then everybody get a little bit scared for a little while and just talking about it in the news, whatever it is, like, but the things that's very consistent, like, you know, is always health, like, you know. Like you might see the person from last year, like, you know, he's still struggling with some health problems, like, or 2 years ago or 3 years ago, that has the same issues, like, you know, today's time, like, you know. So that's consistency, like, you know. So you know, we trying to get like everybody, like, you know, to, you know, change the diet also, and make sure, like, later on, like, you know, as you can see, like, sometimes, like, you know, I'm trying to get to the consuming, which consuming was like my first, like, you know, marathon, like, you know. So just to give you an idea, like, you know, should I continue like consuming the things that, you know, that makes me sick, you know, because it is consistent, like, you know, with what you know, taking in, you know. And like I said, like, you know, even last year, you can see the people from last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, still struggling with like weight loss, or maybe like still struggling with like diabetes, or, you know, some people can't even like digest food no more, and using straws nowadays, like, so so a lot of things happens, like, you know. Last year also, I had a lot of conversation with like people who are sick also, and they're still on certain medication, and they're trying very hard, like, you know, to leave the things that makes them still go to the place where they always have to, you know, give them certain things, like, you know, just to maintain, you know, the sickness, like, you know. So that's a little bit like crazy, you know. So, and I used to have maybe those conversations like maybe 5 times, like, you know, but it's the same people all the time. But the same people all the time also have to realize also, like, you know, if you don't want to be the same people, like, you know, in somebody's eyes, you know, trying to make a little bit of change, like, you know. So and there's a lot of information out there nowadays also, like, you know. But the, you know, because everybody's now wants to, you know, go into the health right now, because, you know, they're seeing like vulnerability on people, and you know, let's take a little bit of like advantage, could be, and, you know, let's create a little bit of like medicinal herbs or something like that, so we can make a little bit of cash or whatever it is, like, you know, and then we can call ourselves like herbalism, like, you know. So there's a lot of that also, like, and it's not really that deep, you know, for you even, you know, to go your way and to get like a lot of information like out there, like by like those TikTokers or maybe like YouTubers, like, you know, they have like a platform where they want to talk about like how to heal certain body parts, like, you know. So, and in my you know, in my journey, like, you know, I just think like this one part, like, everybody should go at first in the beginning, like, you know. So, and it helped me a lot, like, you know, just in the beginning of my like journey to health, and it wasn't like that deep. It didn't take me long to heal whatever pain I used to have on my knees or my neck or whatever it was, like my eyes, I couldn't see properly either, like, you know. So so it was a great journey to have just the person that I was listening to on my screen, like, you know, saying for him just to change to a different direction, like, you know. So as soon as I proceed, you know, that direction, like, you know, so, and straight away I start feeling like different, you know. So, and I could not go back, like, you know, to feel the way I used to feel, like, you know, yeah, sickness, or, you know, my stomach issue bugging, and so it's just like a lot of like problems I used to have, like, you know, in my stomach, like, you know, my gut used to feel very bloating all the time, and I used to think my stomach used to just digest anything, like, you know, that I eat, like, you know, but not knowing, like, you know, the food that I used to eat, like, you know, wasn't going anywhere, like, you know, it was just leaving a lot of fat there all the time, like, you know, my lipid, like, you know. So that was crazy, like, you know. So I had like really bad stomach, like. So then I just went to, you know, a little bit of a green food, whatever it was, like, you know. So yeah, that was it, you know. But so when you have this experience, like, you know, you kind of like look at your surrounding all the time, like, you know, you want them also, like, you know, to be in the position that you're in, you know, to feel good all the time, like, you know, so you can have a feel good conversation with each other, like. But, you know, it's very difficult for you to have this type of conversation if the people are sick, like, you know. So, and sick people, you can't really satisfy them ever, you know. So even if you do anything like good to them or anything like that, like, you know, that sickness is always going to eat certain things, like, you know, in their body, like, you know. So they're always going to concentrate on things that is always a bad thing all the time, you know, because the nervous system is not really attacked, like, you know. They always have stress in their mind all the time, like, you know, and the blood flowing is not really circulating really well, and it's like, so you're always cranky all the time. You have mood swings all the time. One day you're happy, the next day you're not happy, you know. It depends on the food that you're eating, and, you know, so you don't want really that inconsistent lifestyle with somebody, like, you know, that you want to hang around with, like, you know. So the best way is always to make sure, like, you know, the people that you surround yourself to, they also have a better you know, health, you know, they're also trying to eat healthy also, you know, and, you know, and give them some times also, like, you know, don't force anything as well, like, you know, give them some times, you know, support them also, give them some information now and then, like, you know, but don't force too much, like, you know, because they're already in their path, like, you know, already, like, you know, they're eating the sea moss, or they're taking the, you know, so sometimes they you know, they give you like a little bit of picture, like, you know, look, I'm having a green smoothie, like, you know, so it makes you like, you know, that, you know, but it's just up to them, the end result, how is it going to be, like, you know. It shouldn't be like that long for you to really like start like eating, you know, differently, or changing their diet, whatever it is, like, you know, but because they're in a different environment also, and still have friends who eat differently also, like, you know, so it's always one foot in, one foot out, like, you know, so it's confusing, you know. But like last year, you know, I had a lot of, you know, conversation with people like that, a lot. So, and it's just like got into me, like, you know, which, you know, the people who do go to the hospital or whatever it is, like, you know, and I meet them in town sometimes, like, you know, so, and they will actually let me into their, you know, lifestyle, you know, because I do mention straight away, you know, it just comes to conversation where I just like, oh yeah, I eat this type of style, like, you know, so, and straight away, like, you know, they open up, like, you know, oh, this is a great way, you know, everybody should be on this type of wave, you know, so, and then they start like going on about, like, you know, where they're at, like, you know, so they're still on, you know, still taking certain things, like, you know, that's maintaining their lifestyle, like, you know. And if I look at them, like, you know, I feel like very uncomfortable, like, you know, because last year or 2 years ago, I having a conversation with like one of the guys that I do podcasts with, like, and he was talking about, like, you know, like people are more live longer this year. I mean, this time in lifestyle, because this time in lifetime, like, you know, because people are on their like 70s, 80s and still, like, you know, doing things and everything like that, you know. But I'm like, yeah, but like you have to take certain things for you to like maintain your lifestyle, like, you know, that's not really like living at all, like, because you still continue like taking like tablets and like, you know, you have a box of like tablets that you have to take to maintain, like, you know, your health. So that was a little bit crazy, like, you know. So when I look at them, I'm like, you know, they're still in, you know, obviously they age a little bit, you know, like they're in their 60s or 70s, like that, like, you know, but the things they be telling me, like, you know, it's very scary because you know, some things was taken off, like, you know, so they have to maintain that wound, like, you know, so they can't really get off, like, you know, the tablets that they're taking, they have to continue to taking it over and over and over until they're gone, like, you know. And that's crazy, like, you know. So, and not only like the ones that like they're very old, like, you know, it's also the ones like they're very young also. So in the early age, like, you're already on like dialysis and few other things, like, you know, that you have to take, like, you know, in your age. It's insane, you know. So the whole year was all about like insanity for me, like, you know. So I think like people, like, you know, now, even though they're trying to get rid of the insanity, like, you know, by getting rid of it, they want to take more into their body, like more drugs into their body, so they can't really forget, like, you know, what's really going on internally, like, you know. So that's crazy. I'm not really a fan of that, like, so now I have to listen to certain people, like, you know, who's telling me things like that, like, and I'm looking around, like, you know, everybody's really on some like different drugs now, you know. On some different drugs now, like, you know, it changes their mood all the time, and, you know, 1 minute they're okay and the next minute they're not okay, like, you know. So you don't really have a consistent, like, you know, people that you really can talk to or even like hang around with as well, like, you know. So by you maintaining your lifestyle, people live longer by you maintaining your lifestyle, like, you know, by taking a lot of like drugs, and, you know, and some of them, like, you know, exchange it with like weed smokers, and You know, now it's like less drinking but more like cocaine. You know, you sniff more, like, you know, so you just want to escape the lifestyle that you're in, like, you know, but you live longer though, you know. But you can't really leave the things, like, you know, that's keeping you going, because then after that you're gonna go maybe even more in you think it's gonna get more crazy, but you're already crazy already. So so that's a little bit crazy, you know, like, you know. So, and I have mentioned also, like, you know, now because the health universe is so now, like, you know, all about the money now, you know, so everybody's just like money grabbing, like, you know, so let's just create a quick, like, you know, like herbs and then put them all together so you can give it to people, like, you know. And that even damaged everybody else, because herbs are not really like you know, that is, you know, you have to really, you really have to know, like, you know, what you are like actually like putting in together, like in one compound, like, you know, so then people can actually like heal themselves, like, you know, because you can't just take herbs, like, you know, all the time and then feel like that you're doing anything, like, no, you can actually destroy like your organs also, like, you know. So, and you have people who do that just to get a little bit of like cash money, you know, a little bit of, you know, we herbalists now, we, you know, we know what we're talking about, you know, mitochondria, and then they put a little bit of like an accent into it, like, you know, just to make themselves like, you know, they know a lot of things, like, but health is not gotta do with no science, no nothing, like no all this like big names, like, you know, none of that. Like what they're really reading is about, like, you know, animals research. They're reading animals research. So they think, like, you know, we have the same organs, all the body parts, like, you know, as a human being, like, you know, so we can put like herbs and compound together so we can give it to some people who think like they're gonna heal themselves. Like, why is it that now, right now, like people are more sicker, even with all the compounds that everybody's making, and everybody's making all this like healthy drugs, whatever it is, like, you know, and but we're sicker. Like how? How? Like how? Why? And the funny thing is, like, you know, because they're coming out here and talking this talk, like, you know, and do a little bit of like language learning, so now they can like put words together, like to make themselves like intelligent, like I said the last time, like, you know. But if you listen to those goofballs, like, you know, they're talking about like things they don't even can see it. Like you cannot see in it. Like you like you can open up a body, like, you know, but you don't even know what's the name. You just can call it anything that you want. And then now you think, like, you know, because you open up a body, now you can give it a name, but the name doesn't even function the way the body works. Like how? That's the reason why they do open up like mouths, you know, those like those little animals, those mouths, those, you know, they're giving them drugs and everything like that. They think, like, you know, those mouths like function the same way as human beings, like, you know. Like, that's just pure insanity, like. It's a bunch of goofballs, man, nowadays, like, you know. So people are more sicker, like, than back then, like, crazy. Why? All the books that everybody's reading, like, you know, is the research of animals, like. So you have Darwin coming out there calling people like apes, you know, and we involved by apes, like, you know, no, everybody's taking like this ape thingy, like, you know, like it's a real thing, like, you know, we have the same body structure, yeah, look at us, like, you know, we do the same thing, and, like, you know, like, my nigga, if those gorillas, like, you know, that you involve into, like, you know, now all of a sudden, like, you know, they're dumb, so now you got a little bit more intelligent, now you put them now in the zoo so you can watch your ancestor, like, you know, in the cage. So you really feel proud about it. You go buy ticket like to see your ancestor, like, you know, on the zoo. Yeah. So you buy like tickets so you can see your ancestor in the zoo that you involved into. And all of a sudden they're dumb, you intelligent, like. Now, but like, what's going on, like? Even if it's like the Darwin goofball guy, he goes that like there's evolution, like, you know. So that means, like, you know. This guy says like it's evolution, like, you know, that means those monkeys also still should till today also transform themselves like as like human beings like today. Like, what's going on? Like? Yeah. Because he said evolution, like, you know, so evolution don't stop like just out of nowhere, like, and then people just stop like grass or maybe like trees and all that, like, you know, a tree still has to grow. Like, you make a child, like, you know, the child has to grow. Yo, man, I'm telling you, man. We're gonna laugh this year, like I said last year. We're gonna laugh this year because we have a community where we just say and do things, like, you know, because we feel like that we can surpass the things, like, you know, that's been taught to you, like, you know. And the people who taught you these things, like, well, like, you know, this is what I want to know as well, like, people who taught you these things as well. You know, all this, like, to be an intelligent person, speak intelligent, you know, like, and like most of them like can't even create the things, like, you know, they've been like reading for many 20 years, like you can't even create those things, like. But we're so fascinating that the way we talk, like, you know, we're so fascinating, like, you know, to say, like, you know, we are the ones who gave people like mathematics, or we gave them languages, we went certain areas, we gave, and then we lost our intelligence. Like, how can you lose your intelligence? Like how? If it's evolution, like, how can you lose the intelligence? Like, how? Like, if it's evolution, like, how can you stop as a monkey or whatever, ape, whatever it is? Like, how can you then stop, like, you know, to involve yourself as a human being? But now you in the zoo, checking your ancestors, like, you know, taking pictures and shit, like, and giving them bananas, like, all of a sudden they're turning to be stupid and you more intelligent now. You come on. It's embarrassing, man. It's weird for me, like, you know. It's really weird. So we're living in the time where everybody's just forcing things, like, you know, on each other, like, you should know this, like, you know, this wasn't the one, like, you know, this wasn't the right thing, like, you know, but we praise the things like that always never work, like, you know, like, it doesn't work. Things doesn't work, like, you know, it's just not gonna work today. It's just not gonna happen, like. Things doesn't work in the past, it's not gonna happen today. If you had a girlfriend in the past, or you have a dude in the past, like, you know, and it didn't work back then, it's not gonna work today either. That's very simple lifestyle, like that. That's not really it. Like, you're gonna know, like, you know, once you meet the person, like, you know, that you used to know, like, in the past, it's not gonna work, like, it's never working, like, it's just not gonna happen, like. But you like to bring, like, the things that never worked or has failed or anything like that into the future, so you can brag about, like, back then we used to be intelligent but now we lost it. So it's the same as health. It's the same as health, like just same as health. And the health part is like, it's actually on you, because you now knowingly, that you're not feeling really like, well, like, like every year, like, now, like, you're doing everything, like, everything in your power just to be healthy. You go to the gym, but after your gym, you go eat the same things that you were eating that had you actually made you go to the gym. But then after the gym, you go eat the things, like, that actually make you want, how, come on, man. This is, no, man, come on, man. This is just strange for me, man. Like, weird. Like, why? Like, how? Like, if you want to be healthy, like, you need to change, like, the whole type of diet. Like, you can just have, like, okay, today, like, I'm gonna have a salad, and tomorrow I'm gonna have, like, the things that make me actually want to go to the gym again. What's the point you going to the gym knowingly that you're gonna go to the gym? The same as health. Like, health is not that difficult. Like, it's not like that deep either. Like, you don't have to go have research for 20 years for you to understand the body. Like, no, man. Like, you don't really feel good. Like, just change the damn diet. Like, that's it. That's it. Like, there's not like this. You don't like these people who go online, like, and they speak all this, like, this words and put them all together, and like, they have to maintain that, like, over and over and over and over and over again, like, for themselves. And most of them also, like, they don't really on a diet, like, like the way they speak about things, because they know those words that they're actually speaking out, like, it doesn't really correspond, like, with the diet that they're in, like, so you have, like, one day they say keto, and the next minute they say you fasting with eggs and salmon, and then a minute later, like, another video comes up, they say, like, just eat, like, carbs, because carbs is good, it's gonna, then they go fiber, then they go, like, magnesium, then they come in, like, you need sunlight, then you need, like, all these vitamins, like, all these you sound like an addict. You just sound like an addict. That's another addict, like, just another addict, like. So the same guy who smokes weed, like, and he also thinks, like, that weed is, like, very, very, like, healthy also, and they come up with, like, with this, like, talk, like, like, and some of those healthy guys, like, come in and talking about, like, the medicinal herbs, like, it's from the Mother Earth, like, and all that kind of craziness, like. But the person, like, who made them, like, when did Mother Earth ever, like, blaze, like, a tree, like, when did that happen? Like, you're destroying the tree, like, but you put it on the paper that was destroyed, which is, like, wood also, and you roll it, and then you blaze, like, you put the so-called, like, Mother Earth, like, green, like, so you mess up that. Yeah, but, like, this is so healthy, smoking weed is healthy, it's good, it's from the Mother Earth, like, it's very spiritual, like, here we go again, like, the spirituality, like, smoke weed, take mushrooms, it's okay, it's from the Mother Earth, like, burn that shit up, like, and smoke it, like, you know, so you can go and dimension and all that kind of craziness, like, you know, all this super galactic like force, like, you know, that you have in your brain, like, you know, and that makes you like see things, like, you know, like a goofball, like, you know, and then you don't really it's just a crazy time. Like, people just want to sound like they know or invented anything, like, you know, so they can come out here like and say that they invented like something like this already put there, like, you know, a long time ago. Like, you just burn it, like, you know. It is a violation, like, you know, so you violate, you know, the things that you call like Mother Earth, like, you know, so you violating it, and then you come out like actually, like, you know, thinking like, you know, you're gonna sound like sturdy, like somebody who created or even invent something like that's great, but you violating, and then you come out here to tell the people like also to violate, like, you know, the things that Mother Earth created. See, that's what I'm saying. Last year, when I was talking about like when I was talking about all these consuming things, like, you know, I was like, I seen it already, like, I seen it, and I was like, yo, man, these niggas gonna start consuming things, like, you know, not knowing, like, you know, what they're really taking, like, you know. So they're gonna come out here and say things like, you know, sounding intelligent, but like goofballs, like, you know, like everywhere, left and right. You know, so this is just I've seen it, like, so I had to come up, like, you know, with this like concept, like consuming, like, you know, so like, why, you know, how? And the people who smoke in this type of weed also, like, you know, not knowingly, this is like genetically modified, like, you know, GMO. It's GMO, and now, like, you know, they're spraying, like, you know, cyanide onto that as well, like, you know. So you smoking cyanide and GMO, like, you know, and saying this is Mother Earth. Come on. Oh, bad. Oh, man. Oh, bro, man. And none of those weed, like, they're smoking, like, it's real. It's GMO and cyanide. And some of you guys, you know, smoke it also, like, with tobaccos, which also tobaccos is cyanide. So you're super stupid, like, you know, because we all know when you smoke cigarettes, like, you know, it's chemicals. And the people who smoke cigarettes, like, knowing, like, you know, they're smoking chemicals. But when you get weed, and you don't have the farm, of cigarettes either, you know, but you're coming out here talking about, like, you know, Mother Earth, like what's going on, like, you know, like, how can you be spiritual, like, you know, in touch with yourself, like, if you, like, you know, violating, like, you know, your spirituality, like, you can't even, like, tap in, like, you know, properly, like, you know, with, like, your so-called ancestors, whatever it is, like, you know, if your ancestor left it for you, like, you know, not to violate it, but you violated it now, how are you gonna get into your ancestor, even like the deity that you praying to or whatever, like, you know, like, that you violating something, like, you know, that's very natural, like, and then you want to come out here talking about, like, blazing and shit, like, spirituality and all that kind of goofy shit. Like, come on, man. So uncomfortable, I'm telling you. It's weird. It's weird, man. So that's the insanity, like, you know, we're in. You know, you thinking like, you know, like everybody's like really into this like healthy diet, keto and all that. Like, no, none of them, like, you know, the people who go to the gym, they still eat like, you know, the factories, you know, and all that kind of craziness. They still do it. Like, just look at everybody that goes to the gym, you know. And those people you don't even have to, like, you know, like they're just, yeah, doing all like reverse act, like aging, like. That's why it's so hard, like, to stay very young, like, you know, but they're actually like aging quicker, like, you know, because they're actually like using their body like 10 times or even 20 times more, like, you know, just to get rid of, like, you know, the things that they eat like, every day, like, you know, those heavy carbs, like. So it's the same as running. When you're running all the time, like, you know, you're aging very, very quickly also. You're not meant to run, man. You're just meant to walk, like, you know, relax, chill, like, you know, do whatever you gotta do, like, you know, but running and go and do weights and lifting and expanding your muscles and everything like that. Then all of a sudden your face start getting very old. You start looking old, like, you know, just look at everybody, like, who goes to the gym, like, you know, they don't even look their age. Young chaps, like, you know, they're like 20s, they look like on their 30s, like. Gym, why you need to go to the gym for so early age, like, why? It's crazy, you know. So, like, it's not that deep, like, you know, to be healthy, like. It's just like, you know, that you're not feeling well, you just change the way you used to eat before. Because everybody is still the same as last year, like, even though they're saying about all this, like, next year resolution, whatever it is, like, you know, they're still doing the same thing as this year. They're still sicker this year than last year. They're even gonna be sicker even around like this summertime coming also, you know. So yeah, it's not gonna be no different, like, you know. So you gotta really like change your way, like, really gotta change your way, like, you know, you actually like change. Like, you can't like saying, you know, because you cannot just say like, oh, this year I'm gonna have like green a little bit in the side and then salmon and then, you know, chicken breast or whatever it is, like, you know, like, and then call it like a new diet, like, you know. No, you really have to change, switch off, like, you know, like everything, like, so you can really be like clear. Your lymphatic system, you know, your gut is to be cleansed, like your colon is to be cleansed, like, you know, if your colon is not cleansed, like, you know, you can't really like heal anything, like, because you still have like things in your stomach that's still in there, like, you know, still hanging around, and, you know, but then you have the next day, you're still gonna have another, you know, meal, 2 meals, three meals, like, you know, so the one from last week, like, you know, that's only gonna be digested today, and then you're gonna wait another week. So yeah, so you really gotta change, like, you know, the way you eat, even lifestyle also, like, you know. Yeah, that's the only way, like, you know, you can actually like change the diet, like, you know, you don't really have to go to the gym all the time, you don't really have to go and force yourself, like, you know, to be healthy or anything like that. It's not that deep, like, it's just now, like, you know, they see everybody really vulnerable nowadays, like, you know, they don't know really where to go, they don't know really want to listen, they just listen to somebody who sounds very intelligent, who say names, animal names, and he puts the animal names in there, like, you know, just make him sound like he's very like educated and all that kind of craziness, like, you know, and then he gives you, yeah, take this is gonna get rid of your arthritis, this is gonna get rid of your depression, this is gonna get rid of your like certain things, like, you know. Nah, it's not gonna get rid of nothing, man. Get out of here, man. Doesn't even like has changed anything like in their mindset. Like, you know, now you want to make them like take things like, you know, and no, man. That's why people are more sicker this year. Last year was crazy. I was like seeing like everybody's like almost like losing hope. Like, you know, people just like don't want to do nothing anymore. Like, you know, just let me take drugs, like to get out of my misery. Like, yeah, for real. And this is real shit. Like, you know, this is not like really like me saying things like, you know, because most of you's like, you know, you're not really like wild, like, you know, so you still eat like sick shit, like sick things. Excuse my language, like I'm a little bit like you still eat the same things like you ate last year, like, you know, so you're not really gonna see any result like for a change, you know. So you still have the same mindset as last year, whatever it is, like, you know, the year before that, like, you know, so you're still gonna have the same mindset, like. But the people who are changing, like, you know, they can actually see, like, you know, the situation, the scenario, you know, where everybody really like changing, mood swings, everything like that. 1 minute you're okay, next minute you're not okay, you're fighting, you're shouting, and you know, at peace, like, you know. So, and people who are actually changing, you know, diets, or people who really want to change it, like, you know, they're going to start leaving the people like behind, like, you know, because they start finding, like, you know, like the things that that I want to go into is gonna take, like, you know, for me to stay away from certain individuals, like. So that's gonna happen a lot, you know. So, you know, but it's a funny year this year already, like, you know, so I already have like more things to come, like, you know. This is just like one of my welcome video of this year's. It's been great already this year. I'm very happy with this year. It's really cool, like, and I think everybody's like getting on board by now, you know. And the reason why you watch me also, like, you know, like, you know, like you start clicking a little bit and like in your mind a little bit, like, so you know. And it's not an accident me like talking about this, like, you know. So I'm just not coming out here like and saying things because, like, you know, no, I can actually like see the madness, like, you know, that's really going on, like, you know, the insanity basically, you know. So I'm still gonna have my, yeah, I'm still gonna have like my video coming up, like the science and sanity, you know. I'm still gonna have that coming up as well. That'll be like my new kind of like marathon, like, you know. So I just uploaded their video there a while ago. That'll be my last consuming video, you know. So that was kind of like a little bit of a relaxing type of, like, that was actually like last year. So so this year will be more like, you know, insanity, like, you know. So you're gonna go into the insanity levels, like, you know. So I give you a little bit of, like, you know, the part that's gonna come more and more and more, and you're gonna see like a lot of like madness, like, you know. But it's gonna be refreshing because now you have also a few videos just, you know, that I had like released like from last year. So if you have time to watch that, you can watch that, like, you know, and you don't have to watch everything, like, you know, you can watch even one of them, like, you know, because sometimes I not repeat the certain things, like I just say it in a different way, like, you know. But consuming is consuming, like, you know, what we consuming, like, in space on your lifestyle, you know. So, but this year, I think, yeah, I'm finding a little bit more like what I experienced last year. Just the insanity, like, you know, like that everybody's going through, and especially the community that I'm in, you know, we not really like we don't really want to take the step, like, you know, to leave things behind that used to make, you know, certain people, like, you know, a little bit of happiness, like in 1 minute or maybe a couple of hours, and then you're back to square one. We should leave those things behind. Like, it's only like couple of hours. Like, no, you want to have a consistent lifestyle of like happiness all the time, so you can find the things that you used to find like very scary or fearful, like, you know, for you to do or anything like that, like, you know, so you're gonna have laugh about it, like, you know, you're not really gonna have the fear anymore to do things, or even like, you know, to thrive, even just to do things like, you know, you thought like you were never gonna do it, like, you know. So, and to make sure like you know, that the decision that you're gonna make, like, you know, by changing diet, like, you know, is gonna help you a lot as well, like, you know. So, and I'm working on like, you know, like certain like regime, like, you know, like it sounds like a crazy regime, but like, I'm working on something like, you know, like kind of like certain like a health, you know, type of thing, like, you know. So it's just me now because I don't have like many people who eat or live this lifestyle the way I'm living, like, you know. So it'll take a little bit of time also, and then I also have to find like, you know, like a place where people who do eat just like me, because if I say vegan, you know, like we have like a lot of vegan people like in Ireland, like, you know, but this vegan that everybody's talking about, like, you know, it's not even like the like my vegan lifestyle, like, you know. So that vegan lifestyle is still like, you still eat madness, but just like package it like, you know, in organic, you know, like packages, like, you know, or organic this, organic like meat, or organic this, you know. So like, yeah, that type of madness, like, you know. But I do actually have a little bit of like madness also if I go out, you know. But the vegan I'm talking about, like, you know, in the beginning of your life style, like, you should, you know, start like more like with fruits and vegetables, you know, like food and vegetables, you know, so you can get like used to like eating raw food, you know, and you also then can actually like cook your own food, like, you know, based on your taste, you know, and like yeah, but not like straight away when you're vegan and then you straight away go out there and start like picking up like noodles and pizzas, and that's not vegan, and that's still like you eating craziness, like. But and most of the vegan food, like, you know, the packages, like, you know, they're also very like very processed food, like, you know, more processed than the food that you used to eat before, like, you know, because they really have to make the texture the way the meat looks, like, you know. So they have to put like a lot of chemicals in there, like, you know, to make it look like the same way as like sausage rolls or whatever it is, like, you know. So yeah, you know. But thank you for watching in. Yeah, see you guys again, innit?